Alright, this will be for the con assignment, parallel and perpendicular lines from equation. So I think for all of these we're going to have 4 cases, or 4 choices. Alright. So for the first one, the same line, okay, that would just be the same equation. Alright, and one other option is that one equation is a multiple of the other. Okay, so if you have one equation that's like x plus y equals 5, okay, and you multiply both sides by 2, that would make it 2x plus 2y equals 10. These are actually both the same equation, okay, because one equation is a multiple of the other. Alright, so that's for the same line. Distinct parallel lines, they have the same slope, but they have a different y-intercept. Alright, so of course parallel lines, it's just going to be 2 lines that go in the same direction, same slope, but never intersect. Okay, perpendicular lines, the slopes are the negative reciprocals of each other. Okay, another way to tell is that the slopes multiply to -1. Okay, the product of the slopes is -1. Alright, we covered negative reciprocal in the other exercise, write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. I suggest you do that one first. And finally, if they're intersecting but they're not perpendicular, they just have different slopes. Okay, and they're not the negative reciprocal. Not negative reciprocal. Okay, so intersecting but not perpendicular. They have different slopes. So these are the 4 choices. Alright, so we want to find out what these equations represent. As you can see, they're in different forms. So the first one is y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is the m, and this is the b, the y-intercept. So we have to get this in that form. Alright, we want to get it into y equals. So we have y minus 8 equals, and we want to distribute 4/3 times x plus 4/3 times 6. Okay, 6 is the same as 6/1, and we can cancel top and bottom. 6 divided by 3 is just 2, and 4 times 2 is 8. That's going to be 8/1, or just 8. So let me write 8 in this place. Alright, so in order to solve for y, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. And 8 and -8 cancels. So bring down the y equals 4/3 x plus 16. Okay, so the slope m is 4/3. It's the same slope. But the y-intercept b is different. This one is 5/3, and this one here is 16. All right, same slope, different y-intercept. So the lines are going to be like this. Same slope, but different y-intercept. They're going to be parallel. So that's going to be answer B, distinct parallel lines. If the y-intercepts match, then it would be the same line. All right, so we have these two equations, and we can get it into y equals mx plus b form, but we said for the same line, we said one equation can be a multiple of the other. Okay, so let's see if we multiply this by 4, what do we get? If we multiply the whole thing, or both sides, by 4, we'll get 4 times x, 4 times 3y, and 4 times 5. So it matches what we have here. So it's really the same line. One is just a multiple of the other. Okay, so that's the shortcut. If you did it the long way, you would have to solve for y on both sides, or make sure the slopes and the y-intercept match. All right, similar to the first one, this is y equals mx plus b. All right, this is the slope m, and you could make this y equals mx plus b, but we don't need to, because I can see this is in point slope form. Okay, the bottom equation is in this form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, it's already in point slope form, so I know that m is just 3/2. And this m in the first one is negative 2/3. All right, so we already have different slopes. Okay, so it can't be the same line, and it also can't be distinct parallel lines. Okay, if they have different slopes, they can't be parallel. Let's see if they're perpendicular. Take one slope. All right, let's start with the negative 2/3. Okay, flip it, and that would make it negative 3/2, and then change the plus minus sign, positive 3/2. Okay, and that's what we have right here. So these are negative reciprocals. That means they are perpendicular. All right, another way to do it, just take the slopes and multiply them. Negative 2/3 and positive 3/2. Okay, 3 over 3 cancels, that's just 1. 2 over 2 cancels, that's just 1. And we're left with negative 1. Okay, if the product of the slopes are negative 1, that means they're perpendicular. I think this way is easier to find the negative reciprocal, but you can do that as well. So these are perpendicular. All right, let's see. This one here is y equals mx plus b form. So negative x is the same as negative 1x, right? So the slope is negative 1. But this one here, we have to get it in this form. All right. So I see these are all divisible by 5. I'm just going to divide both sides by 5. And remember, when you're adding or subtracting over a common denominator, each one of those are over the denominator. So 5 over 5 cancels, and 5 over 5 cancels here as well. So we have x plus y equals 20 over 5, which is 4. All right, solving for y, I'm going to do a minus x on both. The x's cancel. Y equals 4 minus x, or you could say negative x plus 4. So, what's the slope? Well, we have negative x, that's the same as negative 1x. So the slope is just negative 1. And here it's negative 1 also. So same slope, but the y-intercept is positive 5, all right? This is y equals mx plus b, so this is your b. This is y equals mx plus b, and the b is 4. So same slope, different y-intercept. All right, so the lines are going to be like that. Parallel, two distinct parallel lines. All right, last one. We can see these are both in the same form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So the slopes are positive 1/2 and negative 1/2. Okay, different slopes. Let's take the negative reciprocal. Start with 1/2. Flip it. That's going to be 2 over 1. And change the sign. That's going to be negative 2 over 1, which just equals negative 2. Is the other slope negative 2? No, it's negative 1/2. So these are different slopes, and they're not perpendicular. Okay? Because the slopes are not negative reciprocals. So that means they intersect, but they're not perpendicular. Okay, if they have different slopes, they're going to intersect.